State epidemiology, how can I help you? You had a party this weekend and 40 people who attended are now ill?
While we have all seen the large food recalls of contaminated food or the latest outbreak of foodborne illness on the news, we usually don't think getting sick can happen to us. However, roughly 48 million people in the United States come down with a foodborne illness each year. That's roughly 16% of the entire United States getting sick each year because of something they ate. Foodborne illness is caused by consuming contaminated foods or beverages. Many different disease-causing microbes or pathogens can contaminate foods, so there are many different types of foodborne illnesses. Most foodborne diseases are infections caused by a variety of bacteria, viruses, and parasites. Other diseases are poisonings caused by harmful toxins or chemicals that have contaminated food. People have always gotten sick from food, but with our increased knowledge of pathogen transmission and our ability to determine the source of an illness, foodborne outbreaks are more readily recognized. Food can become contaminated in countless ways during its journey from farm to fork. However, most contamination falls into three general areas during the journey from farm to fork: during growing or pre-harvest, production or post-harvest, or final processing and handling before food is eaten or sold. When food is being grown on a farm, it may be irrigated with water unknowingly contaminated with animal waste that ran into the lake that's used for irrigation. This food is contaminated during the growing process. For foods of animal origin, contamination with disease-causing bacteria may occur at the time of slaughter or shortly thereafter. That's when bacteria in the animal's intestinal tract, such as Salmonella, can get on the surface of the product. Harmful bacteria, such as Salmonella, often colonize the intestinal tract of an animal and in turn get on the animal's skin or feathers. When the animal is slaughtered, these bacteria can contaminate the surface of the raw meat or poultry. Foods such as deli meat and hot dogs can also be contaminated in factories by microorganisms such as Listeria, which can live in the factory environment. The third common cause of food contamination occurs as a result of how food is handled before being served or purchased. For example, the owner of a catering business takes thawed chicken out of the refrigerator to prepare it for cooking. She places it on the countertop to deskin it prior to cooking. She gets busy and forgets to clean the countertop. After cooking the chicken, she places it back on the unwashed countertop to cool and cut up. She leaves it on the countertop for 4 hours before returning it to the refrigerator, allowing the foodborne bacteria to happily multiply. The next day, she serves the chicken in her famous cold chicken salad sandwich appetizers. Bon appetit! Foodborne illness is entirely preventable. During the past century in the United States, our public health predecessors in the food industry have successfully reduced or eliminated the burden of many foodborne pathogens, such as typhoid fever. The burden of these foodborne diseases was reduced through a combined effort of better sanitation, public health surveillance and outbreak investigation, and food processing improvements, such as pasteurization, refrigeration, and freezing, commercial canning procedures, and the implementation of hazard analysis and critical control points, HACCP. In some instances, development of vaccines has played a role in reducing disease incidence. Even though we've had these advances, problems with foodborne illnesses still occur. We are continuing to identify differences in the pathogens causing illness and the people becoming ill. These differences reflect changes in the ways our modern society produces and handles food, changes in dietary patterns, the international source for much of the food that we eat, as well as changes in the susceptibility of portions of our population to illness. People who are more likely to become ill include young children and the elderly, or those who have illnesses that reduce their resistance to infection, such as HIV or cancer. The leading causes of foodborne illness in the United States today are norovirus, Salmonella, and Clostridium perfringens, with over 50% caused by norovirus alone. The highest causes of death from foodborne illness are Salmonella, Toxoplasma gondii, and Listeria